Hi, everybody. I was just on a few minutes ago talking about the mentorship program, but I wanted to come back because I had some conversations today about opening roads and opportunities. And I wanted to spend a few minutes with you to talk about that because I think some people have some misconceptions of what magic does and what a road opener's purpose really is. Okay? Now, I'm going to start this with when you start to get serious about anything, your spiritual life, your education, your career. My mama was saying, there are, even though we don't follow the church's Satan thing, there are still evil forces and evil spirits out here, hey, Lewis, that don't want you to succeed. There are even people whose spirits don't want you to succeed. Their spirits, maybe even some of the ratchet members of their spiritual court don't want you to succeed. And that happens. So you have to understand that every time you are given opportunity, that's the first thing you need to know, is that you will also be hand in hand presented with challenges. My initiation process has been really interesting. I was supposed to have been to Haiti and back, but those hurricanes had other intentions for us. But you'll be hearing about that in a little while. But it seemed to be that every time I got on a path to pay my fees, do what I needed to do, something went wrong. Now, earlier this year, I was in New York. I was hanging out with some folks in the spiritual community, and I opened an email from my job because I was working while I was there, and the email was a phishing thing. It was not from my job. Turns out they hacked our human resources system. Yeah. And we were just about to switch over to a new one. And since then, I went and did all the good things you're supposed to do. I don't know if anybody wants my identity anyway, but I did LifeLock and all that good stuff. But what I didn't know was that the IRS was going to flag my return so I could identify myself. After 2 months of waiting for said return, which was then going to pay for said initiation, I received a letter from them, and they told me that I had to call and verify myself. So I did it. Another month went by. No money. I called them because my mom was like, hey, and I'm like, okay, and I'm calling them. And they're like, oh, well, we said we were going to process it, but somehow it didn't get processed. Then I got to talk to Kansas City. It was a nightmare. But in the middle of all this, I had a 101 session with some really great people. Prolific Nikki came. It was one of our Tiffany's. We have so many Tiffany's. We had quite a few people. We had Nikki G. We had a whole bunch of really cool people here. And it rained bitches and hoes, okay? And guess what? My basement flooded. So I'm sitting here thinking, basement? Initiation. Okay. What am I going to do? I got motherfucking black mold 3 feet high in my basement, y'all. Black mold. Because the rug in it wicked and went up it took the water up the walls. It was like a sponge. So, it rained here again, and it's leaked a little bit. I see now that it was not just like a sub pump issue or the floor issue. There's some actual cracks that are going to need repair. But it has rained so much in Ohio that a lot of people's basements caught water, and it was very little. Oh, this was last summer. Wait a minute. This is a good story, though. This is a really good story. Oh, Jade. I see you, Jade. Were they trying to make you change your name? Because I'm glad, because I never can pronounce Lakitism magical. There we go. Anyways, so yeah. So hi, Melody. So yeah, I've got 3 feet of black mold coming up my walls, and I'm like, okay, I'm not even gonna be able to pay my initiation fee. I'm just not even gonna be able to do it. And I was just panicking. And my mom kills me. She's always like, you worry too much. You worry too much. I'm like, man, look, I got black mold. Well, turns out it was covered by insurance. And you know me. I called my daddy. I was like, Daddy, can I borrow $1,000? Because I found out I had $1,000 deductible. And, yeah, that mold gone. We cast that out. And so my dad, I don't know what was going on with me at the time. Well, I guess, I just didn't have $1,000 to give nobody at the time. So, my dad gave me the deductible. I was like in major panic mode because I wasn't trying to give nobody none of my money except for Haiti. Okay. And, I knew it was covered by insurance. I didn't know how much they were going to cover. And this sister came in here from New York because we had so many people whose basements flooded that they had to bring in agents from other places. This sister came in here. I walked her in here and Spirit said, don't sit her in the kitchen. Sit her in the root room, which is my dining room. So, I'm just all casual and about it and everything. And I bring her in here and sit her down. I wasn't trying to scare her or anything. I didn't know why Spirit wanted me to have that woman in this room. She was like, all right, let me go on downstairs and check it out and I'll come back. And she went downstairs and she wrote a sizable estimate for fixing things in my basement. And then she came upstairs and she says, look, this is what we can offer you. This is what, your square footage is. This is what it's going to take to put things back together. You can ask for more, but then you'd have to apply for it. Do you want to take this amount and get your basement fixed? And I looked at that check and I was like, yeah, well, that was a piece of paper. She went out to the truck. They cut the check. She brought the check. They cut the checks in the vehicle. Okay, y'all. She brought the check back in. I have a great insurance company. And so she took care of it and everything. And I offered her some tea and we just sat and talked. My claims adjuster is from Haiti. Boom. And repair rates as they are here in Ohio, I was able to find a quality repair at a reasonable price. And I was able to take my balance and finish paying for my initiation. Okay? So, just telling y'all, look, sometimes you can be faced with things that you don't even know. Yeah, they wrote the check. She wrote the check in the truck. And it just so happened that after I got through paying everybody, I had enough left to cover what I needed to cover. Wasn't that much that I had left to pay, but it paid it. And then about 2 weeks later, the tax return came. Okay. So I got to use this year's tax return to get these damn cracks filled, but at least I don't have carpet in the basement anymore. And Lisa could tell you she's been there. It's really, really beautiful. Like I said, it still has problems. That's another thing. So when you have your, as the church says, breakthrough, like I was able to get everything that we thought needed to be repaired, and I had to balance afterwards. But really, that was kind of like a loan, because now I got to go and pay for these cracks. But everything does happen for a purpose. When people have really tragic things happen in their lives, they don't want to hear that. So please don't tell them that. Okay? Things happen. All things happen for a reason. The world rotates in a specific way. Things live, things die. It's not perfect. It's not always happy. That's your internet husband. Things are not always happy. And like I said, yeah, you like the Hello Kitty comforters? I have every bed comforter set that my daughter's ever owned on the beds in the dorm in the basement. So it looks like this little girl's room when you go downstairs, because it's all haint blue. I keep it haint blue because my ancestors like to mess with my house guests. And this one girl who came for 201 last week, she said, I don't know if I can stay at your house the next time I come to visit. And I was like, why? Did the cats make you sneeze? She said, no, your ancestors are working my nerves. We have a very interesting home. And no, those are not ancestors in the background. Those are actually my daughter, her boyfriend, her two girlfriends from school celebrating her birthday. So, like I said, yeah, Daisy and Trinity were like painted. Well, Daisy said paint blue, and at the same time, Trinity said light blue. I was asking, about the same day, and they two different people said to do it the same color. So I said, okay, we'll paint it paint blue. And my ancestors will come and like hold your arm, poke you, sit down on your bed. Somebody was rubbing my hair, my back last night, probably my grandma, because she used to always make sure I got in the bed and was covered up. She used to get up in the middle of the night, and maybe it was those 9 kids and she had to go to the bathroom. I don't know, but she, kids can do some work on your bladder. Oh, but she would always, I remember being a little girl, and I sleep light. So I would wake up when she would come in and she would cover me. And it was the most comfortable feeling in the world. But whoever was rubbing my back last night, I was like, can you just come get in the bed? Because I'm tired and you keeping me up, but I love you. And my ancestors, they like to sit on the bed, or they'll, I don't ever tell people about the things that I experience with them personally, because I want to see what happens when they come here. And she also said, they were sitting at the table and they were like, yeah, you get this like a cold air right across you. And I'm sitting there smiling because, yeah, my ancestors ring the doorbell at least once a week. So yesterday, when nobody here, the doorbell rings, I go outside and, thank you, Jade. And it is, I love, and I told my daughter, I said, you know what, excuse the teenagers in the back, I kissed her. She wasn't very happy on her birthday because her teeth were swollen, but she was better the next day. And I said, you know what? Yeah, my ancestors are nice. They can be like worrisome. If you ever are sitting in my house and you hear somebody say, "Give me that," it's one of my ancestors, because I could be like eating something in another room and they'd be like, I want some. That's just this is the way they are, and I've had them all my life. So I was used to growing up with my grandmother's ancestors being around, and her talking to dead folks and all kinds of stuff like that. So I was a little weird in that aspect when I was a kid. But they social. They like to socialize. They like to drink. They like to party. They like to get high. Some of them like to get high. The other ones want to drink. So, it just depends on which one you partying with that night. My mama, it's both. So probably with Big Liz too, my grandmother. So, I was talking to someone today about this whole, funding for your initiation and having some real horrible stuff happen. Yes, they always want a snack. But when you have some real horrible stuff happen to you, right in the middle of spending money on this, and I just had to talk to my sister and talk her down, because, this is a challenge, and yeah, there's some things we got to come up with, and there's things we have to do, and, it's Haiti, so sometimes prices change, things like that. It happens. But I said, in the end, it's not about all of the frustrations and things like that. It's the matter of, did you meet that challenge? When your back was against the wall was against your back, did you meet that challenge? Just like Christianity. Hey, y'all, shut up. Y'all ain't got to be that goddamn loud. Savages. Anyways, sometimes we will really, really, really want something in our lives, and it always just stays out of our grasp. And that has been my experience with voodoo. It's always something, either people, places, or things that were keeping me from reaching my goal. But I realized that I had to get my mind space right, okay? Because I realized what was happening. And my mama warned us. She said, oh yeah, it's about to get real interesting for y'all. It's going to be real challenging for you. And so you have to look at things as a challenge. I was telling another friend today, I swear, I'm going to pour hot grits on you like Al Green. Stop it! Stop playing in my kitchen. They're wrestling in my kitchen. I know they are. I'm going to go out there and put some hot grits on them if they don't get out of my kitchen before you break something. High schoolers. They're savages. Anyways, yes, hot grits. You gotta have new ways to threaten these kids. They ain't scared. They ain't scared of you. You gotta say like, I got a 12 gauge or some hot grits. Something wrong with these kids. They like, bro, they hard out in these streets. You gotta be. So, yeah, back on the topic. Like I said, my basement flooded and I didn't have my money, y'all. I am a single parent. I am a homeowner and I have a day job and that pays for like health insurance and the house, and I work at home, so I'm blessed. But then, this business has been really, really, really picking up, but that was just one of those times. Hi, Amina. Talking about making that way out of no way, girl. It was just one of those times where money was low, and I was just like, look, I had already vowed that any extra money and anything that I had was going to pay for that purpose. But that's why I called my daddy. I knew he was going to help me. I was like, Daddy, I'm almost 50 years old. I'm like, hey, I need $1,000. You got that, Pops? He's like, I'm on the golf course. Let me get it to you tomorrow. I'm like, you retired old man, you. He was a wise man. He planned, he invested, and was able to help me out. And like I said, when the woman showed up and cut me the check, she was Haitian. And she's like, yeah, my parents are about this life. I'm like, when you going to be about this life? And I swear I need to find her number because I wanted to invite her to consider our house. So, but you got to realize, y'all, every action has a reaction. You get a new car, you got a car note. Okay? You have kids, you have happiness, and you have sorrow. Kids will do both of those things to you. So we have to understand that in this world, number one, and I don't know, people, they try to make Christianity look like this. And I'm going to tell you, when I got born again, that's when my life really kind of went in crazy places where, I'm 33 years old, single parent type of stuff. Doing things that I didn't have any idea I'd ever do. I only thought I'd be married and established and own a home before I had a kid. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So, the reality of the matter is things may not always go as they seem, but guess what? Good night, hon. Guess what? Things may not always go as they seem, but they're always going to go how they're supposed to go. And so, like I said, when somebody's grieving, they certainly don't want to hear that everything happens for a reason, but I'm a scientist. I look at our personification of the forces of nature and the forces and spirits of humanity. That's religion. But at the base of my religion is science. And, when you are going to try to pull in the direction of one thing, often that gravitational pull might try to pull you back to a lower position. It can mess with your energy. It can mess with your vibration. It can mess with your attitude. It can ruin your hope. But you see, it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen back in the days when they be training for stuff and men, like for the Olympics, and men would literally be pulling plows, or like in slavery where we literally pulled plows, and it may seem like that. It may seem like every time you want to move forward to advance, you got to carry this big ass load in the back. But that load has a purpose. That the back of that whatever sleigh or tractor you are pulling is baggage. And it's not bad. These are the things that happen to you that you've experienced and that you have gotten through. So that while you are pulling that tractor, you're unpacking that bag. You're pulling out every single experience that you've had that you could use to deal with this one. And when you do that, you let go of that baggage. You use what you've learned in the past to avoid future issues. That's called working smart, not learning the hard way. And then it like I said, you will not be bag lady. You won't be bag lady. I can't sing, but you won't be bag lady or black bag guy anymore. You're going to be taking all of that baggage and taking it with this new challenge, and you're going to be dumping it. You know, in ATRs, or at least in voodoo, we are baptized, okay? We are born again into voodoo, all right? You are going to start over. And luckily, if you've been working to face any challenges that you have in the back by getting rid of the baggage, but using it to be smarter, then you'll be ready. Because that's exactly what happens. You know, when I first started practicing voodoo, Mambo Marchi told me, forget anything anybody's ever taught you. Because usually they're wrong. You know, and on top of that, you know, I know that voodoo is done differently by different houses, but we are in the north of Haiti. We are not in Port-au-Prince. So there's even going to be some differences there, you know, who we venerate and things like that, and how we venerate them. But one of the things she told me today is you can't learn this from a book. You can't learn voodoo from a book. You can't learn Santeria from a book. You cannot learn Candomblé. You cannot learn Ifa from a book. Now, what that will give you, hopefully, if you get some reliable information, a nice foundation, some information, but these are living live religions, so you're going to have to walk that walk and talk that talk. People misunderstand magic, you know, and I understand. It's like Hollywood, you know, wiggle your nose and poof, it appears, but that's not really how this works. Especially because we're dealing with nature. Nature takes its time sometimes. Nature speeds up sometimes. Nature does what she pleases. Okay? But if we are working towards a goal and we're steadfast, we'll be able to deal with whatever these changes are. Whatever things nature throws at us, and how nature chooses to take, say, these herbs and these roots that we use in our magical spells and make these changes in your life. It is not about giving. It's not about giving you what you want. It's not about bling bling, instant gratification. It is to help you get through this life with things of spiritual matters sometimes that you may not even understand. It gives us the ability to make reason out of no reason, so that we can continue with our life's purpose. Because really, that's all we're really here for, to do something, to do some shit, and then leave, and go do something someplace else, and then go do something someplace else, okay? As spirits, we'll be able to do something everywhere, anywhere we want to, whatever dimension we want to go to. But in the meantime, we got to learn how to work within the matrix, within the practice, or the praxis of our existence. And that is one of really joyous times, really sad times. What did you break? What did you break? What did you break? Oh, God. These children are going to kill me. I gotta go check my liquor cabinet, because they didn't break anything. She threw a pizza crust at it and it hit my big, beautiful fireplace grill. Oh gosh, pets and children, the reason why we can't have nothing nice. In any case, back to root work, back to magic. They're just goofy. She knows better. Man, somebody almost got the grit. You damn right. But listen, so, you know, I explained to my friend that I was talking to today, 9 years ago, They laid me off my job, and they gave me like 4 months notice. I sat there for 4 months knowing what day I was losing my job. The Monday after my job ended, I had to have a hysterectomy. It was planned, but it was heartbreaking. Then after that, I really couldn't find a job. Just nothing. And I used up I think I had like $15,000 in the bank. It's amazing how fast that goes when you ain't working, and when you're living carefully, but you have a mortgage, you have bills, you got a kid. So I was broke, couldn't pay for my condo anymore, and just really kind of fed up with life. Had a major meltdown, probably a nervous breakdown. I became a photographer after that, which led me to voodoo, strangely enough. But most of my family's photographers. I kind of resisted it. And then when I didn't have anything else to do and wanted to be creative, I found that I could really take good pictures. So that's what I did for a while until I started practicing voodoo. Very funny. I closed my studio the same month that I started Big Liz Conjure. And because this was my calling, I'm able to use my photography now in my business. So, there we go. You got all this equipment. What are you going to use it for? So, what I found out along the way, and I still refer to Bible stories because they came from somebody else's stories anyway. And the book of Job, and I don't know. I couldn't be Job. But it reminded me of that, except, I got to keep my kid. But it reminded me of how if you trust and you believed that God and their agents, I call their because I believe God is a man or a woman. I believe that they're both. Their agents, you believe that at some point, because I never ever doubted that the Creator would help me. It was just a matter of when. And it got harder and harder and harder to wait for that when. But baby, when the wind came through, you all have seen the different parts of my house. You could put my condo in this house 2 or 3 times. You've seen my yard. You've seen my new car. You've seen everything. I ain't own a new car until after I declared bankruptcy, y'all. I was 42 years old before I owned a new car. Because I've always been so careful. And one of the things that I realized is being careful. What's wrong? They're so goofy. When I hear a teenager say, oh dear, I think something's wrong. Okay? But it's just like, I felt like I'd lost everything material. But I knew that I had spiritual things that were happening in me. And good things. And, interestingly enough, losing that condo put me in an apartment that was perfect. Even in ways this house is not for my practice. As far as altar space, my first little root room. I looked at a picture from my memories from when we moved in here. This room looks so big, y'all. We can't even turn around in here. It's ridiculous. We're like 3 or 4 of us are in here working. And I didn't even think within 3 years, I'm just in here am I here 2 years? 2 years, that I might say I'm outgrowing my house. Cause, if this space was configured differently, like if there were a couple bedrooms on this floor that could be used, that would be great. But in any case, you would never hear, you certainly would have never, I got these at, what's up, Holmes? What you need? What did y'all break?
A piece of glass.
I knew you broke something. Off of my altar?
No.
Boy, they playing around in my living room. I got these earrings at Pagan Pride Dayton. People always mistake this for a Celtic symbol. It is not. It's kind of like a spiritual trinity. Okay? And then this is the pentagram, and then this is the tree of life. Okay? So, yes, Pookie is here. That was the one who said, oh dear, I don't know what they're doing, but I know I heard glass break. And he don't lie very well. But I'm going to go out here and find out what these idiots have broken. It better not be anything off my ancestor altar. We're going to fight everybody going home tonight. So you see, I can't. That's why I made the separate video for the mentorship thing, because I wanted to be on here with y'all just chit chatting, and I knew they were gonna break bad. Okay, yeah. Let me tell you something. Lisa saw the first floor powder room. It's not clean like I like it. It's clean, but it ain't clean. I'm gonna clean it up and I'm gonna show y'all this powder room one day. It is let me go. I'm gonna walk over here. We're gonna see what it looks like. Because I think it's okay for a video. I'm really picky, but I'm gonna show y'all this washroom. So I'm gonna turn around. This place is jacked up because my office is. I'm not showing y'all my office. I'll get that together when I go. That's my dollhouse I built. Okay, so I'm going to take you into and show you this bathroom that Lisa's talking about, because this is the first thing outside of this door here, and you can't see it because it's dark, but outside of this door, this was the first thing I saw when I bought this house, and I said, I'm buying this house. So check. This is my first floor powder room. My sink is a little dirty, but I'm going to show it to y'all. Look at that. I ain't never seen nothing like this in the history of life. You know me. I'm just like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. So we put really cool things on the walls, and new pair of shoes will change your life. And this happens to be my favorite color. So that sink was what made me say, oh, if I'm buying this house. This based on the sink, you know. And now that I see what can be done in there, I go looking at all the other glass sinks, and I'm thinking, oh man, I could change this sink. But I don't know if I'm ever going to change that sink. So let me bend down here and get this cord. So this is what I'm telling you all. I mean, you're talking about somebody who lived in a old house or ancestral home in northern Ohio, and my grandparents raised me, so I didn't have a lot. And then, you know, I lived in Chicago with my mom. We lived on the west side and south side. We grew up with a lot. I was never impoverished, but I never grew up with a lot. So if you had this literally, you know how some people dream of mansions and things? If I was to like articulate what my dream house is, it would be this. And I'm perfectly happy with never, ever having another house again. It's been a great house. It's had its challenges. Thank you. I got these at Dayton Pagan Pride. I'm going to try to find these for you guys and sell them in the store, okay? Oh, you got your crystal grid? Yeah, I got a crystal grid in here. That's what gave me the idea for making the wooden ones. And now, oh, wait till I show you the holographic vinyl. Wow, I'll wait, because I'm making one for somebody special, and it's going to be glass, and it's going to have this fuchsia color hologram type of vinyl on the top for the grid, so it's going to be reflective. And then I'm going to paint the back with chalkboard paint too, but you might want to be a little bit more gentle and probably use a chalk pen, but you know, you have to wipe that off with something. So there you go. Hey Mal, my voodoo sister's in the house. So you know, I've learned a lot about crystals through working with Shadow. Shadow's with her daughter in Kentucky, so she'll be making guest appearances, but she's down there now, so I'm a little sad about that. But I got a surprise for you guys next week or so. I think a video about some people that I'm going to be working with in the future. Is going to be really cool, but I'm gonna wait till say people are ready to make the video. So yeah, so Shadow, she'll be around because she's part of the witch circle and stuff, but she's down helping out with the grandkids down in Kentucky right now. So there you go. You know, so I'm here. I've got like 15 orders, and I'm working on them slowly but surely. But I just wanted to talk to you guys and tell you that, you know, there are, you know, I'm not trying to be a Pollyanna here. There's some real showstoppers in life. There's death. That's my showstopper. Death and disease. It's just like, oh my God. Because you can get well or you could die, you know. And, you know, in this particular dimension, that's a sad thing. And, you know, if you're dead, well, you really can't accomplish those things that you wanted to accomplish. But as long as you have life, as long as you have breath, you have a chance to make a change in your life. Man, I done so much changing, twist and turning. I woke up, I went to bed when I was 20 and I woke up and I was 40 and I was like, what the hell happened to the last 40 years? Okay. 20 years. And, I've done a lot of jobs. I've learned a lot of skills. I've owned a photography company. I've owned an errand running service. I've been an instructional designer for 20 years. You know what? I only found one of those boxes with the license plate on it, and I am looking for another. I am in love with that box. Okay, so if I find some more, Jade, I will set one aside for you because they should pop up every now and then. But that box was everything. I don't know which customer that went with her, but I think she's going to be really happy when she sees it. It's truly one of a kind. But I'll work with you if you want me to send pictures and samples of your witch box. Prior to me buying it, I can give you some examples and you can choose from the examples which one you want. All of them are customizable. Okay. So I just wanted to come and tell you all that there's some real shitty shit that happens in life. Really bad stuff. Stuff that will keep you from making a living. Stuff that will keep you from providing for your family. Stuff that will get in the way of your spiritual and your initiation process. It's going to happen. That's life. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I don't know why it's like this. But what I do know is that we have been given tools. And so, as I told someone today, you gotta stop coming from a place of want. Chani Lely told me this. He said, I liked your broke no more spell, but why don't you start off from what you are claiming or what you want to have rather than what you don't have? And that made me start to think about, negative self-talk and talking ourselves out of things and before we even start them. So, one of the biggest, I'm going to tell you the biggest change in my whole mental thought process was I went from I can't to I can. And usually there's not a lot of doubt. It's usually just a question of how. So if you start and you've already said that this is done, I just have to figure out how to get there. I need to figure out what I got to do in this process, but this is going to happen. That's what it is. The church talks about it all the time, and that is what magic is, y'all. That's manifestation. And I'm like, a lot of people are sleeping on magic. They don't get it. Magic manifests opportunities. Your ancestors are not going to just throw things in your lap. Even when you was a kid at home, you had to work to get an allowance. People are not going to just throw shit your way because you're feeling sorry for yourself or your life is hard. Nope. Most of the time, and I told this to a young lady who was at work because she needs to go back to school. I said, the people with the hardest jobs get paid the least. Do you realize that? So guess what? Your life may be hard. You may be getting paid the least, but you're in control of that to a certain extent. There are very few things in your life that you are out of control of. As the poem Invicticus says, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. So obviously he wasn't Christian. Okay? We are given this life to do as we will. And even Christianity has free will. So the biggest question is, what are you going to do with it? Who are you going to help? Who are you going to hurt? Who are you going to encourage and who are you going to bring down? Because none of us are going to ever do better than anybody by trying to destroy someone else. That's why I hate it about the corporate world. I love being in education, but that'll happen there too. Competition, backstabbing. You see it even in this community. But I don't have a taste for any of that. people, because of Hollywood, don't understand magic. They don't understand voodoo. Everybody rolling up in here, you know that dude, I forget what his name is, Mr. Living God. What is E.A. Coetting? Really? Like, really? I mean, that's not what this is about. Now, he will turn around and say, oh, that's because I just haven't been given the keys to real voodoo. And I'm just like, no, that's just because you got sold a sack of shit. Now, is our religion powerful? Oh, yes. And, you know, it's amazing. I've seen some stuff, and I'm sure I'll see some more stuff in my lifetime because, like I said, I'm a scientist, so I'm going to have to see this, like, right here, evidence thereof. You know me, I'm going to ask about for empirical data of Yanni eggs. You definitely damn sure my religion is going to be highly inspected and was originally circumspect when I first found out about it. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to look at things. I'm going to ask for proof. And that's what I love about divination, too, because I don't have to worry about my spiritual advisors because I know how to advise for myself. Plus, I know how to ask, is this person going to be good for me? And see, now I'm going to start doing that with every single person that really is becoming important in my life. Divination, divination, divination. Because what's happening around us constantly, all of this energy, all of this changes, our ancestors, our God, our spirits, our Orisha, our Lawa are making change for us. They're making room for us. They're showing us these different things that we could have if we wanted them. Spiritually, materialistically, because like unlike Christians, it ain't no shame to be rich. You know, you don't have to be a mega pastor to be rich in our traditions. In fact, it's encouraged. Hard work, enterprise, entrepreneurship is all encouraged in our practices. You have to find ways to hustle. You know, the only way, if you guys have seen The Pursuit of Happiness or any of those other impossible ass stories, all they had to do was keep getting up every day and keep working towards a goal. So that's what we have to keep doing. You know, I was talking to my sister today and I'm like, I don't know, we're going to find a way. We're not even going to worry about it. We're not even going to stress about it. We're going to handle this and it's going to get done. And that's what we have to do. We have to make sure things get done. I'm going to tell you that 9 times out of 10, when something happened in your life that was really awful, 9 times out of 10, or maybe 8 times out of 10, you did it. You either made something really, really good happen, or you made something really, really bad happen. And a lot of us are too used to making things that are really, really bad happen. Magic helps you to make things that are really, really good for you to happen. And you need responsible teachers. You need good spiritual siblings. There's no room for gossip and sexual misbehavior. You know, we like sex. We ain't Christians. I ain't talking about, you know, marriage and all of that. But I'm just talking about priests and other people in their houses having sex and things like that with people who are their subordinates. It's no different here than it is anywhere. Exactly. So I hope with the mentorship program I can put you guys in the hands of some good people if you're choosing something other than voodoo. I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot of educational opportunities rolled out to people, especially those who are interested in becoming an initiate in my house, my spiritual mother's child, and my godchild. So it's all coming, and sometimes things don't work out exactly the way we thought they would. That's the story of my life, and yes, I still get mad about it. You be like, oh, you be fighting here. Because you can't get your way. You know, it made me have new empathy for toddlers when they were having tantrums. Because I know good and goddamn well when I get by myself, I'm screaming. And people who know me well know that, yeah, I get mad. But then I'll be like, okay, now that I got that off my chest, next, what are we going to do? How are we going to figure this out? How are we going to do it? That's the answer. It's not, when, it's how, because how produces when. And that was the one thing I didn't get when I lost my job and I lost my condo. I didn't get it right away. And then I started looking at losses as wins. Yeah, anger gets shit done in a minute. But then I had to look at my losses as wins, because the apartment that I was in Chicago was as big as this house. It was 2,500 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I had an art studio and photography studio in my house. I had a full living room, dining room, everything. It was great. And it was cheaper than my condo. And when I, kind of like rolled back, looked over my shoulder at, the trail I left, I'm like, man, you really came up. But you couldn't have told me that when I had to move out of my home, my very first home that I owned. I was really in a bad place about it. But I think it was that how you have defining moments in your life, and I talk about this particular defining moment all the time. I had a defining moment. It changed everything for me. It made me see what a potential loss looked like as a win. And so now, yeah, you're going to have emotions. That's another thing. Do not think that this spiritual journey that you are on is going to keep you from being human. You still going to want to fuck folks up. You just might not do it as often. You're still going to lose your temper. You're still going to be wrong. You're still going to be righteous. There's ups and downs to all of this. However, now when I have a loss, I'm quicker to get that win. So when my basement flooded and I was like, okay, after I got through being sad and realized I wasn't going to have to pay for this, they even covered my deductible or something somehow. It was really crazy. They paid the deductible off or something. It was really strange. And I thought, I hated my basement. I can tell you, man, it looked like somebody threw up on the walls. If you all have seen the before picture, they put some faux finish with really ugly plum and gold and brown. And it just looked somebody had Goldschlager and puked. And then the whole place was Berber. And I am not a carpet person. And I was going through my mind because I'm like, I'm going to have to skim coat these walls. Oh my God. I'm going to have to pull up all this carpet. And I just avoided my basement. Other than to walk through the family room in the basement to go to the laundry room. And then, it flooded. And I was pissed. You learn how to appreciate that really ugly ass carpet when it's full of water and mold is creeping up your walls. It ain't so ugly then, is it? You really start to they're so loud. You really start to embrace the things that you wasn't necessarily crazy about in the first place. Let somebody take them from you. You might not like that car that much, but if somebody steals it and it's your only transportation, you gonna miss your car. So, I was really tripping for a minute. And then I found out, oh, wait a minute. Whoa, slow. Wait a minute, Surf Pro coming over here? Like it never happened? Wait. What you mean? They gonna pull up the carpet? For real? Wait, they gonna clean the floors? Oh wait, they're gonna cut half of the wall away so the guy can come in and drywall? They're gonna do all that? And they were like, yes, boo, yes. And I was like, yes. So, I'm just trying to think. There's some things losing my mom, losing my grandmother, losing my aunt, my uncle, losing anybody in my family. I think that's really the only things. But now that I'm where I'm at, I'm close to them again. It's not the same as having them physically here, though. So don't think that you ain't gonna mourn either. You're just gonna mourn differently. And you're going to be much more in touch with your relatives than you were before you began this walk. But other than that, other than painful, especially untimely deaths in my family. I get down when somebody's old, but we've had some shit happen in my family. I don't know about y'all's, but we done had some shit. Other than that, I've been able to get up. It's like there's just no way. Maybe I'm just too stubborn. Maybe I'm too damn evil. I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to let oppressors win. I don't care what that oppressor is. Isn't that awesome when your parents come to see you? My mother came to me and my sister the week after she died, and my sister and I had the same dream. We do that sometimes, and same night. And my mother was in my sister's apartment, and she had on her Chicago Bulls sweatsuit, and her hair was all done. And we were like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, I just came to fuck with y'all. Because, like, my mother was never able to go to my sister's apartment because she lived on the 3rd floor. And, we didn't know any better at the time. And me and my sister both were like, look, you dead. We can't do this. You got to go on. Go with your mama. Go with your sister. Go with your daddy. Go. But I don't think that if I'd known what I meant, I would have sat and talked to her. I'd been like, give me all of the details. And think about every single time in your life where you've had a dream and you didn't realize what was going on and didn't get the information that you needed. So keep in mind that these are all opportunities. That is magic. To be able to take maybe even coded information from a dream and figure out how this applies to you now in the astral plane, in the next life, in your past life. It all makes you. So knowing how to handle those dreams, man, if I could have had my mother again like I had in those dreams, because I would have talked to her and I would have asked her about some shit that would nobody talk about. I had to eavesdrop to find out about the man in the top hat that comes to visit when people die. That's the only way I found out about the Baron, and realized that I was a voodoo child, and I went all my life not knowing that. That particular spirit would come and visit one of the members in my family when somebody else in the family was dying. When he came and he sat at the edge of your bed or on your dresser or tipped his hat, you couldn't see his face. It was just all black. You knew. And my family knew. And I'm really upset that a lot of people just didn't talk about it. Some of them are Jesus freaks and they don't want to talk about it. And girl, yeah, your mama she was doing it, isn't it? It's so good to see our ancestors in dreams whole again, especially when they died long, painful deaths like my mom did. So you have to understand that that's the only thing that matters really is love. You have your kids, you have your friends, you have your family. That's the most important thing. I found that as long as I have them, I can do anything. So, now I have this whole new spiritual family, and it's like, man, we gotta be there for each other, or nobody else will. That's the type of spiritual house you need to be looking for. You need to be finding people who are gonna have your back, who will literally kill somebody for you. That is what your family does. Your mama would kill somebody for you. Your spiritual mama should kill somebody for you. She should be willing to do that too. So, this is the family you choose too. So remember that when you're picking a faith, and I think, like everybody, that my house is the greatest house in the world. And if you want to talk to me more about it, please do. I think I've brought about 15, 20 people to the house so far. It's growing. I think it's great. I also know other religions and other houses that are great. I know, Ia Alori, who runs Oya's Playground. I always send people who are interested in Ifa to her because she can get them to the reputable person in their area. My Mambo for voodoo. then, here in, let me think, I haven't, for Santeria, as far as education is concerned, Ochani Lele, and I know a lot of different people in the Santeria community that I really like as well. And it is my hope that we can get more people in these faiths together. So I've got just all kinds of stuff going on in the next few weeks. But in the month of April is when I'm going to start putting together the online spiritual conference. I'm looking at admission prices to be between $75 and $150, depending on if you're going to do 1 or 2 days. And the keynote on Friday is going to be open to people from both days. So we're going to work with getting some really brilliant, talented, African, beautiful people. And we're going to get them together, and they're going to talk about their religions, and so there'll be different tracks that you can take, because we're not limited to ATR. So I'm going to be reaching out to people who are in, say, the fairy tradition, or Black people who are in the Norse tradition, because some of us exist, to speak, to talk about that, because, that's part of our ancestry too. I mean, we are the original people, right? People from Kemetic orders. I'm hoping to talk to real ones, not photeps. I want to talk to people who do traditional witchcraft, initiated Wiccans, just all of us, just online in different chat rooms and doing different sessions. And so in order to do it high quality, we are going to have to charge admission, because we're going to have to use a platform like GoToWebinar, and that ain't cheap. But think about this. We're going to talk to people. I'm going to invite Layla, I think it's Salad. She's she's in Chad or Dubai. She's over there. She's just really great. I'm going to try to get her to come on. Siete's over in London now. So we're going to have people at all different times of night probably, but it's going to be online. And, right. So yeah, be plenty of Wiccans. We have places in all of these practices. I love mine. I'm partial to mine. And I know other people love theirs just as much. So I want y'all to have a good evening, but remember, be encouraged. When I think about, and my life ain't hard. That's another thing. Let's stop and talk about this before I go. Like I said, we were not poor. We just didn't have a lot. And I look at what I have, and only 1 in 8 or 1 in 4 people in the world own a car? So come on now. Really, when most of us hit the bricks, we're still getting in a bed every night instead of a dumpster. Keep that in mind, because then you won't feel so defeated. It's like, hey, today I managed to stay alive. And sometimes that's hard, especially if you're depressed and you're suicidal because your life is in the toilet. Today I survived. Today I got out of the bed. Today I brushed my teeth. Today I went to work. Today I hugged my kids. Hug and kiss your kids. Show them affection. I just told my daughter, I'm like, man, you getting old, and I'm not getting my kiss, and I'm going to need a kiss from you every single day. Because I know there are going to be days when we're not together, and I'm not going to be able to have that. So really, just right. It's like, yeah, you think, man, really, because if I didn't have people telling me, wow, this is great, you got a wonderful life, I might take it for granted. And I want people to, I'm glad I met you too. I want people to really embrace what they have. You start your spell work from a place of have, not have not. Start your spell work. Yes, I cherished them every moment. I held my baby all the time because I knew she's gonna leave one day. And I am gonna start clowning them. I told them they could have the house so I could travel the world, because I work remotely, go visit My friends all over the world, I'm like, y'all just take care of the house. I'll be back once a month. That's what I'm going to do when she gets grown. Her and her friends can rent it. I said, just do not turn my house into a frat house and destroy it, and we'll be all right. My house better be clean. So, but, that's a great thing, that if I needed to, I have a piece of property for my legacy. And yeah, one day I'll pay it off, Yeah, have a good day. Right. Yep. Say, have a good day. You got to get up every day. It's going to be a better day than yesterday. It's going to be a good day. Don't wake up talking about, oh, this day is down the crapper already. My daughter does that, and I talk her out of it all the time. I'm like, you can't start your day like that. That's a tall order to come up from. Not shit to good. But if you start at good, you can get to great. So really, realign your thought process, because things can be horrible. They can be. Your pain is relative. At the same token, don't let anybody tell you that what you are experiencing is not painful or not real, because it is for you. But you can't afford to live in pain. You can't afford to live in constant stress and worry. Trust me. You end up with high blood pressure and diabetes, okay? And often, you can't get that back. I bought something really cool today. Hold on. My daughter's therapist is always talking about mindfulness, right? I used to love prevention. Now, I am not an old person, okay? But my grandfather used to read prevention and take a lot of supplements, okay? My grandfather walked upright and drove until the day before he died, and he just dropped dead at 84. He had the blood pressure of an 18-year-old. The doctor said he just had a heart of an 80-year-old man. But I used to read his prevention magazines, and this one is really kind of cool. And it was $5. And it talks about the mindful manual. So it's talking about clearing your mind, boosting your joy, finding your purpose, cultivating gratitude, letting go of clutter, eating clean, thinking yourself healthy, increasing your energy, calming the chaos, sleep better naturally, end negative thinking, rediscover your passion, find real peace, embrace the moment, try meditation, put down your phone, and finally feel happier. So I'm going to read this, and I'm going to share some gems with you. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you. I love you, and I thank you all. I could not tell you this stuff if you didn't listen. You guys are here, and that's that mindfulness, creating that light space. I need this. It's like it jumped out for me. I was at the pharmacy, and I'm like, oh wow, I need this. I need to just take a look at this and take something real small and figure out what this whole mindfulness thing is. And I'm looking like, oh, that's mindfulness. Well, I kind of been doing that, but I want to get better. So remember, you can't start from crap and get to great as quickly as you can get from good to great. So let's try to remember when we have really, really difficult situations that we are facing, that number one, yes, it's difficult. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be a little stressed, maybe a lot stressed, maybe cry, but you can't stay in that. There's no way to live in that. There's no place for life in that. That's death. That's walking death. So we're either going to decide, there's some people that never get over it. Some people lose their kids. I can't imagine that. There are some people who end their lives because they can't. It happens. But if you can manage, and I really hope that you can, to hold on to yourself. That 15-year-old of mine that you hear in the other room in 2015, 2 weeks before we moved to Ohio, swallowed over 100 antidepressants. She didn't think it would hurt her. That's at least what she told my stepdaughter when she came upstairs and told her told her she'd taken all those pills. Seizures, ICU, you know. I was a practitioner. People knew me. I told some people, didn't tell others because people judge and people throw hate. But, my best friend, who is recovering from surgery right now, so send good energy and thoughts to my sister. And my other bestie, they went and sat with her when I couldn't, if I had to work or if I had to go home and take care of something for the move. But she came out of it, strangely enough, better. Some people don't get that chance. Some people don't come out of it. Some people die. But she came out better. And, that's all I can say is the spirits and the ancestors took care of her. They were like, hey, we put you here because you got shit to do today. We don't have time for you to be swallowing a whole bunch of pills because you are, 14, 13 years old and you're confused about everything, The only reason why more of us didn't try to commit suicide when we were teenagers because we didn't have nothing to do it with. There were no guns, wasn't no pharmaceuticals, we had none of that in our house. So, because I would dare say a lot more of us would do that. So, yeah, in the midst of me changing my entire life, I was in the ICU with my daughter, moving several states over. Yeah, she's the only reason why I live. The only reason. And that, that's enough, so that when all this stuff swirled around when I lost, in the end, it wasn't going to take me because I had her and I had to be here for her. I wanted to be here for her. So that was never a consideration. But that didn't mean it wasn't painful any the less. So you have to understand, man, I'm doing really well right now, but I've done really well before, and I've gone back into the valley before, and sometimes it's interesting. I can't say that I like it, but it's oftentimes fascinating what that valley is like, because guess what you find out in the valley? You find out who your friends are. That's the first thing you find out down in the valley. I got that term from Ayana Van Zant. You're a priestess, So when you go down in that valley, you find out who your friends are. You find out what your family will do for you and what they won't. You'll find out just how strong you are. You will find out just how unselfish your children are. Or selfish, depending on how you raise your kids. You're going to find out a whole bunch of stuff that is going to help redefine you as you climb back out. And who you climb back out with. And it's a good thing. Because when I was packing to move and that happened to my daughter, some people who were supposed to have been my friends were the ugliest and nastiest they had ever been. And not even so much ugly and nasty because that had happened right before. But what happened after, everybody knew I was packing to move. I had like 5 people show up of all of these friends to help me pack. 5 people that consistently helped me get my life together to get out of Chicago. So remember, my comments are scrolling, Mohana. You might want to hit the screen, and because sometimes it gets stuck if you go and scroll down. So I'm just saying that. And it helped me because then when I left Chicago, I didn't feel like I was missing that many people. Because them folks was where they were and I was going where I was going and I was going to be okay. When my second husband left, my sister thought I was going to have this meltdown and cry. Man, I got me a drink. I had a shot in a square. And I was just like, you know what? I was okay after the first divorce. And that took all those years to get over that and spent a lot of time miserable. And I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to be, you're welcome. I'm going to be okay. right now. So, if you gotta, I'm telling you, like they talk about faking it till you make it. Some days you have to look in the mirror and say, I'm gonna be okay. Even when you have no effing clue how you are going to be okay. Speak a word unto yourself. Start from a position of have rather than have not. Okay? Don't sit in it. You got it right, man. I mean, come on. This is like if you like shit your pants. Don't sit in it. Clean your ass and keep it moving. I'm going to talk to y'all later because I have some food I cooked like 2 hours ago and I wasn't hungry. I think I might be hungry now. I don't know. And I think I'm going to go steal some of their pizza too because they got pizza. So I want you all, right, ain't nobody got time to be miserable. That's why I love you. Yaya's always got a smile on her face. Yaya will drive 2 hours to see me, and no matter what is going on in her life, she's got a smile. One of the biggest smiles I've ever seen in the history of life. And we have to smile more. It makes you better. It makes you feel better. I love y'all. Good night. Bye.